I have to believe I've been without a vacuum pump for a year and just la 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 la, soft brakes, thinking everything was fine. So to check the booster, pump it up until it gets firm. It's getting there. Pretty much there already. And then we turn the engine over. Let's see if it... So that indicates that the booster seems to be okay. Going by the instructions in Vita, it says to disconnect the vacuum pump, electrical connection, and then use a vacuum tester connected to the pump. Everything's hooked up. I have reconnected the electrical connection, had to jury rig some connections to the vacuum pump. Hopefully it's a good seal. Well, no really any kind of change in the vacuum. Fuse looks all right, but that kind of makes sense. The oxygen sensor runs off of the same fuse, and I'm not throwing any O2 codes, but had to check it. We have, all right, so the connection into the booster, this is your switch connection that apparently goes to fuse F33, and then this line wraps behind this and then around. That looks like fun, but wraps around until it gets connected into the vacuum hose, and then there you go, so forth and so on to the pump. So need to disconnect this. It's got that wire connection holder, whatever it's called. So I've repositioned the battery, and on the terminals I didn't screw them in just so they have contact. Took my little paper clip and kind of reworked it over. I just turned the ignition over to 2. We'll see what happens with that first. Hey, vacuum pump. We have a working vacuum pump. So what does that mean? There is power to the vacuum switch. The vacuum pump is not running. The vacuum pump works. It's the switch. Need to keep in mind there are 2 variants to this booster vacuum switch, and the variants have something to do with, one has a bracket on this end, one does not. Had to visually double check which one that is appropriate for mine. So again, here's your part number, and now we need to pull the battery, the box, and swap them out. Take this. And there it is. So rotate it counterclockwise, even though I don't see any threads, just flanges. And it comes out. Alright, so you can see now this grommet here, which I do not have a replacement part for. So maybe clean that up a little bit and condition it, and it just goes back in. Be right back. It takes some patience pulling this hose back around the reservoir and then getting the foam padding. There's a yellow line, getting that lined up with the plastic bracket, shield, whatever it is. And I just went ahead and reattached the vacuum on it. So now plug this thing back in, which now I can't really rotate it. So I'm gonna guess I'm just gonna have to push and then make the connection and put it back all together. The connection at the booster pushed straight in, nice and easy. When I tug on it, it seems to be pretty well attached. You would think there'd be an O-ring or something for a seal, but I guess that grommet is enough. We'll find out when we do some vacuum testing. Well, I missed it on the video, but I went to throw in the battery, just loosely connect the terminals and test the vacuum pump, see if the switch worked, thinking I would have to turn the key to ignition 2 or whatever, but as soon as I connected the terminals, the vacuum pump immediately engaged. Okay, all right, that is about where it should be. And I should probably cut that off. The other test, or the previous test I did, was gauge straight on the vacuum pump, disconnected from everything else. Now this is set up with a T-fitting, connecting the vacuum pump and the rest of the vacuum lines. When I reconnected the battery, engaged the vacuum pump automatically. I wasn't expecting that, but we'll see if we can get it to engage now so we can see how the reading comes out. So now we get a reading that went up to about 16. There you have it, a P1 Volvo vacuum switch setup. This should be the same for a V50, C30, S40. I haven't seen any videos on this particular procedure, so hopefully this helps. I probably would have been futzing around. It would have took a lot longer to figure out than it actually did, because of some good folks over on Sweet Speed. So thank you, especially to Volvo God, best handle ever, for kind of pointing me in the right direction.